Y'all, so you know how I say that every time I do some process work, then my life is different. There's some kind of like manifestation in my physical life. And that's why I'm so addicted to the sweet weeping, is because my life gets cooler and better. So I have an example of that. And to be clear, I haven't been awake since like 5:30 in the morning, but I started my day at 5:30 in the morning. I was like, the light was on at 6 a.m. and I went to a sunrise yoga class. I was at the location at 6:45 to be waiting to enjoy the sunrise at 7 in the morning, in the AM. And I've never been the kind of person who's like cared or set an intention around starting my day very early. I was never that person who was like, I want to start my day at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. I'm like, when the spirit leads me to arise is when I will arise. Like, it's fine. There's no urgency. Okay. I'll get done what I need to get done. Um, and as I was in bed this morning and I realized, you know what, I'm up. And I actually had done some additional process work when I got up in the morning, which I also share with y'all. But once I realized, I'm awake, it's like six something in the morning. I might as well. I was thinking, oh, I'll just go to the beach and watch the sunrise because I'm so close. And then I was like, wait, I actually met a woman at the last time I went to yoga, which was at the top of February. I met a woman and we had brunch, and she was coming from like a really early morning yoga class. And I was like, oh, and it was in my head like, oh, I could go to that yoga class. And so I went, and it was beautiful. And there's photos of me on the internet in very extended poses. And it was amazing. And while I was reflecting on whether or not I would go, I thought about my vision board and how, we have our vision board full of things, aspirational, inspirational images. And a lot of what I have includes things like, being out in nature and doing activities in nature, including things like yoga and Pilates, etc. And I realized when I made the decision, because of course I could have just stayed in bed, I could have just relaxed, I could have done the easy thing and just walked to the beach. When I made the decision of like, oh, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna walk these however many minutes so I can be at this location and go to the ATM and get cash so I can pay for this class in the morning. I'm gonna be her. I'm gonna be that person. It helped me understand this idea around like you have to be a different person to have the things that the current you doesn't currently have. And so the reason why the things aren't on your vision board aren't yours yet is because you're not being that person yet. Also, hi people who just joined. Feel free to say hello in the chat. And so the other thing, because I'm really connecting to this idea that I can deeply visualize, feel the energy of, whatever I want, and relax and trust that it'll come towards me. This morning, I was like, well, I'm awake. Let me do some visualization. Let me create something. Let me manifest some abundance. And I was like, what's something that I could create? And I thought about flying first class, which I've yet to do. And I've connected to imagery around first class before. And the thing is, it has been very vulnerable. Like when I used to think about being in first class, I imagined it being a very young version of me who's just like feeling a little bit like, and then the lady's like, would you like some orange juice? And I'm like, you're gonna give me juice? And she's like, yeah. So it's been this very like sweet and tender thing. Fifi's here. Hi, Fifi. And then the most recent time I was thinking about it, I connected to the thing I most want to do. The thing I'm most excited about is eating a piece of bread and like the butter and just like smoothing some butter on a warm roll and eating it in the sky. Like that feels really nice to me. And so I was connecting to this imagery, and this voice in my head was like, you want to fly first class so you can eat bread like a peasant? And I was like, and the voice was like joking, but I was like, that's not supportive. And this was an amazing change, an amazing shift, thanks to my past weekend of activities. You know what I'm talking about if you watched yesterday's live. And the awareness that came from just noticing when my thoughts are supportive, when they are not, when I'm reinforcing fear, lack, separation, obligation, guilt, any kind of low frequency, just having that awareness and making an intentional choice to change. So I hear this part of me that's kind of like mocking me and kind of putting me down for my dreams. And I'm like, hold on, this actually is not supportive. And I found that, and it was quite vulnerable. I was like, I basically was advocating for myself to myself, where I'm like, you have come really, really far, like in terms of like your beginnings and where you've come from. The fact that you are where you are now is incredible. And the fact that you are seriously calling in something like a first class flight, given your history, is a really big deal. And also, like, my parents grew up in Nigeria when there was the Civil War and there was that famine. So, like, my ancestry includes literal starvation. So, it's like, it's a big fucking deal that I'm going to be eating bread in the sky with butter. And so I basically just like was defending myself and advocating for myself. And of course, weeping throughout all of it. And it was really beautiful. And I think that's part of this thread that's coming online around worthiness, where it's like, yeah, don't let people say stuff about you, even if it's you, right? Don't make yourself small. Don't let people talk shit. Even those little jokey comments, it's like, it's not funny. And you deserve to, like, yeah, have people respect you. And that's for you, right? So don't be that voice in your own head. Charlotte's here. Hi, Charlotte. Charlotte's saying, hi, Chimdi. Funny your live just appeared in the title of it as I'm depressed and mad at the universe for the state of my life. LOL. Low vibrational energy here. Sorry. It's all good. I feel like if you're hanging out with me, your vibe is going to rise. I don't think I'm being cocky by saying that. I feel like it's going to radiate through the screen. Markeithia is here too. Hi, Markeithia. Markeithia is saying, hey, Chimdi. Wow, the alignment needed this. Yes. And you're saying you're literally learning how to speak life over yourself in the moment. Exactly, exactly. And again, it's like, we can be so used to having that narrative and again, like dismissing it like, oh, that's funny or whatever. And it's like, you are great. You are worthy. You deserve to get everything you want. And so I think and one of the other things I said to myself, because it was probably 5:30 in the morning when I was doing this, because I like woke up and I was trying to get back to sleep and I wasn't really getting back to sleep. So I was like, well, I might as well like sit up and do some meditation, do some visualization. And one of the things I said to me was like, I said to myself was like, you literally are spending every waking moment. Like, you literally woke up. Some people wake up and they just keep lying there. You were like, you know what? Let me go ahead and use this time to connect to God. That's how serious you are about your inner work. That's how committed you are to your own expansion and development. Like, that's a big deal. Like, do not speak ill of yourself. Like, you should be really, really proud of yourself. And so I basically have taken that energy into my day, and yoga was really nice and very gentle. It was hatha yoga. So it's like, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Hatha, I think it's hatha yoga. That was like super chill. And of course, like, be moving your body as like the sun is coming up was really, really nice. And also just the thing of like being awake early. I don't know if y'all are used to this. Something that surprised me is people are awake. People are walking around, walking their dogs, jogging, as the sun isn't even up yet. It's dawn. People are up at dawn. Did y'all know that? Like, I just feel like that's weird. There's another group of people who are just awake, running around, doing their own. What are they doing? I don't know. We don't know because we're asleep. They're having their own adventures. It's really strange. It's really strange. I'm going to try to maintain the sleep schedule. But one of the things that really helped is that the Wi-Fi was down in my apartment. And I was feeling a little bit of anxiety about this because I was like, oh, I'm going to have to join the co-working space. And the reason I left the co-working space is because their Wi-Fi was acting up. And then that turned into this thing around like, is it about Mexico's Wi-Fi infrastructure? Do I need to leave? Like, it was just like causing all of this anxiety. And, this again is what I was processing over the weekend. There's a mosquito in here. Okay. This is real time. We're connecting to the light. We're connecting to what we want, connecting to the frequency of a healthy, beautiful body and not to being bit up by mosquitoes. Oh my God, I really do need to kill it. I got it. I fucking killed a mosquito in my palm. And that song, God. Look at God. God said, kill that motherfucker. And I said, I will. This is why we connect to the light. So yes, I'm trying to maintain this early rising or just like have fun with it, right? And part of why I was able to do it last night because I wasn't up watching Netflix or scrolling on TikTok because I physically couldn't. And over this past weekend, I was just being with the fear that was coming up around where I was living. And again, just like bringing a lot of light and stuff to it. And then this morning I woke up and Wi-Fi still wasn't working. So I was like, all right, I'm going to head off to the co-working space. And there was a part of me that did kind of miss it because it created some structure in my life. Like I had a place to go, you see people, and it's somewhere else to be. Because if you work from home, you can stay inside all day and never go outside and never talk to anybody. And I liked just having those interactions. And so that had been like in the back of my mind. But I mean, I don't want to not have Wi-Fi. I'm seeing something else flying in the space. So I don't know if it's a mosquito. It could have just been, I could have imagined it. So we're not going to give that any of our attention. So basically I went to the co-working space today and it was so fun and I was so happy. And I was like, yay, I'm taking my calls. I had such a good time. And I think it's cool. I think that also speaks to when something is like a choice and an option versus you're doing it from a place of fear and desperation. Because I mean, I could have gone to my local cafe, but that wouldn't have been as professional. And now I'm back in my apartment and I'm able to stream. So the Wi-Fi is working again. But, when I was there, I realized I felt such safety and security with like being in a establishment where the point is we are working. So, the Wi-Fi is going to be good. So that created such a sense of like, oh, I can really relax. And I realized even when my Wi-Fi is back, I'm going to keep going. Like instead of buying a 1-day pass, I bought 5 days. And I was like, maybe because the Wi-Fi won't be up by then, but also because I want to have the routine now, even if it's just 1 or 2 days a week. Like I want to start going out again. And I just had a really good time. Okay, I'm going to change to the chat. So Markeithia is saying, Charlotte's saying, it's true, almost impossible not having more energy watching you. Thanks. You're welcome. You're welcome. Love the energy exchange. Markeithia is saying, that's been me today. Tears flowing. Yes, let them flow, let them flow. Tears flowing, and I'm just speaking life and more life. Yes, you're exhausted now, but that's okay. The thoughts did not win. You call days like this character building days. Exactly. We have fun. It does make things fun. It's kind of like when you watch a movie, though sometimes I do like TV shows and movies where nothing actually happens. I got bit, but I don't know if it's something new or if it was the one whose life I just took. In real time, we are practicing connecting to the light. Yeah, it's like sometimes I do watch things where the point is that the drama won't be real. But even then, like we do like a story, things have to happen. We have to keep it pushing. It makes the experience of being a human more fun when there's just a taste, just a sprinkle of drama. So again, you get to build that character. And it makes it fun to grow, If you say the same person, what kind of vibe would that be? Abstract Voice Podcast is here, and they're saying you need to join the Dawn people. Oh my gosh, literally like Dawn of the Dead. Like, who are they? Lurking in the pre-light. Like, what are y'all doing? So weird. It's just weird. When did you go to bed? To be up walking your dog at 6 a.m. Like, I'm like, I think it's just this idea that we're all on the same planet, having very different lives, like having very different experiences. Lots of people, like collectives of people, are doing other stuff. And I'm like, what? And you heard about it, but you didn't really think it was real. And then you're like, y'all are really regularly walking the street at 6 a.m? Well, hey, I may be one of them soon, and I'll be able to share, but it is baffling to me. Charlotte, your Wi-Fi never works, though. This is the death. Speak over my life like that, Charlotte. I was like, oh my gosh, not the connection being unstable. Literally, the connection was unstable just as I started talking about how it actually works fine. But yeah, I was telling a friend about it. And as I was talking, I was like, I'm tired of talking about this. This feels like it's an old storyline. It feels like it's an old plot line. We're in a new season now. We're in season 4. Like, why are we still talking about season 1 activities with Wi-Fi? Like, it's not interesting to me. So I'm also gonna honor that by not giving it any more of my energy. Where attention goes, energy flows. So we're gonna leave that. We're gonna leave that in the past. I wonder if this is what my face actually looks like. You know how apparently, apparently mirrors reverse your face, and so you don't actually see yourself. I'm wondering if since like I was like trying to, I'm like, oh, is this what my actual face is doing right now? OMG, the Bug Zapper tennis racket. My first apartment had that. It was barbaric. It was barbaric. I used it and I felt really connected to the soldiers that also belong to my ancestry as well. I think no, I can't give the bugs any more attention. This is the discipline. It's the choice to continually return, talk about what you want, talk about what you like, talk about what you're grateful for. And it's like easier said than done, but we are practicing it. We are practicing it. Markeithia is saying, in the midst of it, I thought of you, Chimdi. Instead of saying that I was fighting back with word, I kept saying, I responded with word. You are done fighting in all senses of the word. Yay! It's so nice when you have impact. It's so nice when you say things and people are like, not only did I hear you, but I put it into action. Yes, I love this for you. Yeah, I definitely think about that when I see people like, we're gonna go fight. I'm like, okay, y'all have fun. Another big thing I realized too, and I think that's why I feel so comfortable on live, is because there is always a choice. Like, y'all have the choice to log in, to log off, versus it being like I'm like knocking on